totals were up last year, but his shooting percentages were down. So is Bledsoe a near max level player? Only time will tell.
Monty shot is good.
They're doing work here in the second half, 3 or 4 to start.
And it's Bledsoe off the drive. Boom, he jams it straight down.
And sometimes when you want something done, you got to do it yourself. That dunks the shot in the arm they need to really cut into that lead.
Well, Greg, it certainly got everybody on their bench up and off their seats and cheering.
Yeah, that could be an instant momentum shift. That certainly was a rim wrecker. Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Guys, this one is threatening to get really ugly.
Back to Morris. Monty with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. Here's Ariza. That is in there. Lawson with the assist. Lawson's got 6 assists here tonight.
I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen throughout. Just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively turning into quick points.
And that can't continue. I mean, if they hope to get back in this game, I mean, it's really deflating from a morale standpoint. They need stops and points, not turnovers.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Rockets will retain possession.
Substitution for the Rockets. Terrence Jones. Clint Capella. Patrick Beverly.
Hey, Brewer.
Ariza outside. And that one's good. Beverly. And the Rockets lead by 17.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But, boy, that was a nice job.
And it's good. And that's now 9 points for Eric Bledsoe.
He didn't have a single point in the first half. Bagel, 0 points, nada. But he's starting to get into the groove here in the second.
Beverly the pass to Capella. Doubled by Knight. Ariza outside. Morris with the rebound. Suns trail by 15.
You know, the Phoenix Suns played well overall last season, but they still couldn't match up against some of the teams in the West. Had a hard time with in-conference battles.
6 to shoot. Knocked loose. Here's Ariza. A great 1-2 punch. Beautiful pass and nasty jam.
Such a strong finisher on the fast break.
And, Greg, I love the fact he's always in control. Even though he's going at breakneck speed, he still maintains his body control.
Beverly against Bledsoe. He feeds it to Tucker. Morris right side. And it's Bledsoe off the drive. And the rebound goes to the Rockets. And for the Suns last season, Greg, they ended with a record of 21-31 against the Western Conference. It's something that you can point to, Greg, as a reason they failed to make the postseason.
Great point, Kevin. And the big problem for the Suns were the other Western playoff teams. Only went 8-22 against the top 8 in the West.
You know, he just hasn't looked right to me. A bit out of sorts, if you will. Something's off with his mechanics, at least as I look at it.
Corey Brewer.
6 seconds left to play in the third. It'll count. Got it off in time, but it's no good. The three-quarter. Preseason in the NBA, and it's great to have you with us. And so here is Houston. Our fourth quarter action underway, presented by Gatorade. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups. On Phoenix, looking who they've got on the floor. Mirza Teletovic out there with PJ Tucker. Then there's Markieff Morris. Then there's Brandon Knight, and it's Booker in at the 2 spot. Lawson's against Knight. No good from Lawson. Suns trail by 17. Booker with it. Now Lawson defending. Lawson's against Knight. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. And sometimes it feels like Brandon Knight is the Rodney Dangerfield of the NBA. The poor guy just doesn't get much respect.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. Through the end of last season, he'd already been on 3 teams in 5 years. On one hand, it may be disrespectful, but teams recognize his ability, too.
And on the topic of Brandon Knight, you have to wonder why he's been traded around so much. I mean, it wasn't due to a slow start because he made the All-NBA rookie first team. He's smart, has a strong work ethic, proved himself to be a clutch shooter in college, the kind of guy you normally wouldn't think about dealing for someone else.
You know, talking about Brandon Knight, part of the reason he's been traded so often is because teams are offering great prospects in return. Detroit dealt him for Brandon Jennings, and Milwaukee dealt him for Michael Carter-Williams.
Harden's shot is good. And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for Houston.
Defensively, they played with a lot of energy, and the steals we've seen are a result of that aggressiveness.
They haven't wasted time getting the ball up the court tonight either, and it's resulted in a lot of fast break points. Boy, that's a nice feed by Lawson.
Suns trail by 20. Outside Knight. We're just over a minute and a half now into the 4th. He kicks it to Tucker. Suns moving the ball around. 5 on the clock. From deep three-point range. Passes to Teletovic. And it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. And so here is Houston.
Timeout charge to Houston.
Now a timeout called by Houston.
Hey, guys, in a draft with so many talented big men and lead guards, Booker was a bit of a hot commodity. One of the purest sharpshooters in the draft, has a lightning quick release on his jump shot.
Harden outside. That one falls, coming off Lawson's feet. And it's 13 points for James Harden. Outside Knight. Five to shoot. To the middle and stolen by Howard. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. Brewer with the ball. Lawson dishes to Harden. Some solid defense from Knight. And with Booker, you know, who is a Kentucky guy, he's a sharpshooter. Greg, you're talking about that. His dad actually played at the University of Missouri. He was a pretty good shooter. Clark, this Booker has a pretty good frame to work with, and I think that's going to serve him well in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like his size. I like his stroke. I like his toughness. I think he's going to be better defensively than people think. He's got a lot of good stuff in his game already.
Harden kicks to Lawson. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
That's his first
Well, one thing about Ty Lawson is he's very good at attacking the defense. Gets inside without a problem and knows how to set up teammates.
And for Lawson, he is great when he attacks. He does obviously create well for his team on drives. Interesting player, certainly. But playing with a team that's growing and pretty young around him.
A good point. And, you know, last season, Lawson averaged about 13 points for his team off of his own drives. I mean, that means 13 points a night would be a direct result of him attacking the rim. That's second in the league in a stat that only trailed James Harden.
I think that would surprise some people.
Yes.
To the paint, here's Brewer. That one falls, coming off Lawson's feet. Lawson's got his 9th assist in the game now. Knight kicks to Booker. Outside Knight.
And something that's been whispered about around the NBA is expansion. We know there are some markets that want desperately to have an NBA team. The NBA might not be at 30 teams for the foreseeable future.
Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. And Beverly kicks to Thornton. Back to Jones. Dishes it to Beverly. Shoots the three, and he gets it to go. There are markets in the U.S. that want an NBA team. Seattle, which has been a great NBA friend, has been trying to get a team back since the Sonics left for Oklahoma City.
Clearly, Seattle's the lead name domestically. The NBA has also talked about adding a European division. A lot of different options for expansion. Don't think any will be acted on anytime soon.
And guys, Brandon Knight really fits the mold of the new breed of NBA combo guard. He has the length and quickness to guard ones and twos, and his skill set allows him to generate offense both in transition as well as the half court.
Pass to Beverly, feeds to Capella. Out to the right wing. Jones, the pass to McDaniels. Shot clock at 6.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for Houston.
And they could do no wrong today, Steve. That's right. This was a team performing to its Clark fullest capability.
Yeah, and a very satisfying win for him, too. A game to remember, and on the other side, definitely one you want to forget as soon as possible.
And maybe it goes without saying, but they had no answer for James Harden. You can't look back at too many major moments in this game and not see his imprint put all over it.
Greg was talking about Brandon Knight. He'd really improved his shooting percentages before the midseason trade last year, and that was one of the bigger weaknesses, Clark, earlier in his career.
Yeah, not only was his shot going down more, it looked better. It was better mechanically, but now to take the next step, he has to cut down the turnovers.
And this is going to be a fantastic result for them. No win on the road comes easy.
Not in the NBA, they don't. And trust me, they're going to take a little extra pleasure in this win, having silenced an entire building of hostile fans.
And they get it back. And Morris closes it down. Here's Beverly. And they can just dribble the ball until the buzzer.
Yeah, exactly. They got to be happy with the outcome here.
Elated, you're right.
Oh, excellent interior D to force the miss.
His defensive ability is a big factor. I mean, there's no denying that.
Outside Knight takes the three. Off target with that shot. So we see the Rockets taking the win here. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
That's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And now we'll send it down to Doris Burke, who's standing by courtside.
Dwight, coming off the loss in last game, what was the difference tonight in how this team played?
You know, we got a good win tonight coming from a tough game last night. We started out strong. We just stuck with it. We stayed together, and we got a good win.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys at the table.
Doris, thank you as always. That'll do it for this NBA preseason game. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. And standing by for the postgame show, let's head over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now we get a chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, James Harden. And Shaq, I can tell you want to say something. Your comments?
He had a sensational night shooting the ball. Over 60% reminds me of myself. If you're shooting over 60%, you're playing smart. You're being aggressive, and you're creating opportunities. What a spectacular performance.
That was the James Harden we've come to know and love. A player that brings nothing but fear to players that have to guard him. I've said this for a while now. He's the best one-on-one player in the NBA. And even if it's not a one-on-one situation, even if you throw the kitchen sink at him, he still gets the job done. It's the confidence, the drive, and the spirit that makes James Harden a superstar.
And that's it for our broadcast here tonight. But we're just getting started on a new season in the NBA. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again soon.